As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Zero to Hero. We are on episode 103 after a short little break there for the holidays. We are excited to be back with you guys, bringing you guys some of the great leaders from around our city. And today we are joined by another one. He has his hands in a lot of things going on around the city, but most recently, he is the executive director of Red Tail Academy. His name is Patrick Nelson. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Patrick, how are you this morning, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Oh, I think I lost you for just a second there. So Patrick is kind enough to be joining us here on this inclement weather day. I think he's running on some auxiliary power, but we're going to make it through it. So I don't know if anybody out there heard you, but I got you. Good morning. So tell us, just to get started here, what do you guys do over there at Red Tail Academy?
At Red Tail Academy, we are focused on exposing the underserved youth to become aviators. And what I mean by that is getting them the opportunity to become pilots. And now we're diversifying where anything aviation, we want to get kids involved in it. Because if you look at the staggering numbers, we need several thousands of people to fill jobs and occupations. And a lot of time the underserved look at that and say, I can never be a pilot because I don't know how, for one. And I don't have money to do so. And what we do at Red Tail Academy, we make those barriers kind of go away to give anybody with the heart and integrity the opportunity to become a pilot.
That is incredible. Yeah. And obviously an industry that, suffers specifically recently. They've been talking about how we're at a shortage of pilots, right? Less flights are going out. Not as many people are able to get into it, right? So definitely something huge, but really across the industry as well. I mean, there's so many things within the aviation field where really hurting for manpower. So absolutely incredible. How do you facilitate this? How do you get kids involved? What's kind of the program look like once they get in there?
Well, a lot of different ways. The main thing we do, we have a strong outreach that we go out and we do presentations to youth groups, schools, anybody that wants to listen to it and say, hey, have you ever thought about becoming an aviator? Because I know growing up at my dinner table, we never talked about aviation. I mean, like when we talked about aviation, we're going to take a trip to somewhere and that's all I knew. But as far as actually doing it, I'm like, we don't talk about that. So the first thing is awareness. We have to get people aware that this is an occupation that has opportunities. And, when you look at it, we focus on the pilot area of the aviation, but it's more than just a pilot. Before that pilot can get up in the air, there's maintenance people that's doing things for them. You have construction people constructing airports. You have airport operations just to making sure everything is good. You have meteorologists. You have so many different occupations just to make that happen. And the reason we are the safest way to travel is because of all the things I pre-mentioned, is that stuff is always going on behind the scenes. Like right now at our airport, you got crews cleaning off the runways, make sure they're safe so the airplane can land and take off. And so it's great to have a conversation. When I do my presentations, the one thing I talk about, something we've all done, Gino, when we were 3 years old, we pointed up to the sky and we said airplane. And I still do that. But the thing is that as a 3-year-old, I never think about becoming that pilot that's flying several thousand feet above me. And we just want to connect those dots and make it more of that's an occupation I can do. I know how to do it now. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I similar situation in my house. My dad was a Navy vet. So the only time we really talked about it was you got to go join the military to get those flight hours, right? That's who they hire, right? And then, come to find out, there are several routes, especially if you have the money where you can go get that training, right? But it is extremely expensive, right? As somebody that's looked into this, I've got a little bit of an idea, right? You get into okay, well, I'm not going to be able to afford that out of pocket, so let me look at student loans and all these different things, that go along with that, and then obviously having to pay those things back. And I think it does deter quite a few people. So anything where you're able to get out there and get those flight hours at low or no cost, absolutely get out there and take advantage of that. And even if flying is not the end game for you, right? It's a great base knowledge to get out there, get the experience, go try something new out. And if you end up somewhere else in the industry, fantastic. That's perfect. Now, Patrick, I'm going to get a little bit away from Red Tail Academy, and I want to ask you who you are, right? So you've been with the Chiefs, you've been with Raytown Chamber of Commerce, you've got your own things going on, and obviously Red Tail Academy. But putting all that stuff aside, who is Patrick Nelson? Give us your elevator pitch.
I found out probably about 15 years ago that I like to volunteer and be involved with just anybody. I'm one of the ones that if you see me on the street, you would say, hey, that's a good dude. That's where I want to be. So I strive to do what's right and help people out. Have I been perfect? Nowhere close to that. But then I learned how to get on the pathway. And so I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed to have some really great career type jobs. You mentioned the Kansas City Chiefs. I currently still work for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I guess I do have a Super Bowl ring.
Ooh.
And it's great to take the Super Bowl ring out and let people see it and even put it on. And, I've been out there for 13 seasons, and I won't say how long I'm going to remain out there, but I think we can get another couple of Super Bowls before I retire from the Kansas City Chiefs.
I love
and
it.
So it's great to have that role because, of course, this Saturday, championship playoff game. So here we go. Playoffs are starting.
Let's go.
I will be in the house. Good thing I'm inside because it's going to be cold out there. So if you guys are coming out to the game, bundle up because it's going to be cold. But I'm feeling pretty good about the outcome. I'm not going to say yes or no, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Along with that, I've been, again, blessed to work at the Kaufman Center. So the Kaufman Center for the Performing Arts, I'm in a role down there where we just finished our Christmas season. And in 24 days, we did over 50 shows. Wow. And out of that 50 shows, I was there for 12 of them, being one of the front of the house people. But you get a chance to entertain and meet people from all over the world. And I have met people from all over the world, and it's just great. And then plus the volunteers at the Kaufman Center, we have over 500 volunteers. And whenever I go on vacation, some of them have gone to places that I dream about going to. So they tell me what to look for. So I have the advantage that I don't go and be a tourist. I go and be somebody that's on a mission. And so the Kaufman Center has been really good. I've been out there for 9 years. And then if you do any type of looking for me, you'll find out that I am a mobile DJ. I'll get out and I'll DJ. I do weddings, retirement parties. I don't do a lot now. The pandemic changed a lot of that because a lot of my friends, that's all they did. And they would say, man, Patrick, it's hard to find gigs during the pandemic. And I would give my gigs away. I said, you know what? I'm doing it as a hobby. You guys doing it as a living. Take those gigs. So I still do it occasionally, but I'm able to pick and choose what events I DJ. But outside of that, like I said, volunteering, I've always been involved with schools and education. Some of my prior jobs had me in every school, high school in the Kansas City metropolitan area, where I was in 50 high schools in the course over 12 years, just talking about what happens after high school. And before I got deeply into aviation, it's like, right now, because of social media and because of all the accessibility, kids can do whatever they are passionate about. And I remember giving a presentation one time, and a kid, there's always a smart aleck kid in the group. And the kid says, Mr. Nelson, I'm going to be a gamer. And I looked at him and I said, did you know that at Park University, they have a program for gamers, and one of their students makes $1 million a year playing video games? Wow. So, of course, when I said that, I got the whole school's attention because, wait a minute, are you serious? I said, check it out. So giving kids the opportunity to say, look, I'm not going to tell you how much money you can make, but I'm telling you what you want to do is find something you're passionate about and find a career that associates with that. Right now, there's a lot of people that would love to let you shadow them on their jobs and say, you know what, you want to be this? I do this. Come hang out with me for a day. And my personal goal is that I travel around the country and, people ask me where I'm from, I say Kansas City. And, you know, I get mixed reactions. Sometimes it's like, oh, that sounds cool, Kansas City Chiefs. Or, wow, Kansas City? And it's rough in Kansas City. And I'm thinking, it's no more rougher in Kansas City than any other metropolitan area, but this is what you have identified with. So the thing is that I want to change that image. So when somebody says you're from Kansas City, we're not going to talk about a certain football player's girlfriend. We're not going to talk about that. However, but I would love for them to talk about the football team, the cultural arts, what Red Tail Academy is doing, exposing people to opportunities that are not there, and get away from the stuff that is not so pleasant about Kansas City. And in the process of that, if we get more people interested in things, the percentage of graduation will increase because we're working in an educational field, but it will also reduce the recidivism that's going on to where, okay, so now we have something else to look for because we may have the same as everybody else. But when you look at the great things coming out of the city and the way the city actually is working together, which a lot of cities don't, we kind of work together when we really get to a common cause. And I like the fact of that because some of the people I've met in the last few years has been phenomenal. I mean, I'm hanging out with people I never thought I would ever hang out with. I mean, I was with the governor of Missouri just a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, why am I with the governor? I'm not a politician. You know, and the mayor of Raytown is one of my best friends. You know, it's like politicians, Patrick, I guess it works. We make it work. That's who I am in a nutshell. I mean, that's my elevator speech, you know, giving back and making a difference, creating some type of a legacy. So when I am gone, people can look back and I'll be one of the ones that the Kansas City historians where they say, you know, Mr. Nelson, this is some of the things that he was able to be a part of. And the biggest thing is I know that the stuff I'm a part of is much bigger than I. So I'm just happy to be able to say, hey, yes, I am associated with these organizations.
Yeah, I was a part of that. I love that. I love so many things you said right there. The first one being that you're not perfect and nobody is. And if we look at the Chiefs this year, that's a shining example of what right. Non-perfection looks like, right? But hey, they just keep doing, they just keep going, right? And that's all any of us can really do, right? I've got 2 young kids at home, so Frozen is a big movie in our house. But I love one of the songs from that movie where she says, "Just do the next right thing," right? And I think that's really what it boils down to, right? Is nobody's going to do the perfect thing all the time, but if you can just focus on doing that next right thing over and over and over again, you're going to do all right for sure. But I love that you talk about how Kansas City's working together too. I mean, it really is apparent. It's really evident. It's actually a theme on this show with all the entrepreneurs and all the founders that we have on this show. They're so interconnected and they're so willing to drop everything they're doing and go help that other entrepreneur, right, or that other business owner within the community, whether it be resources or advice or whatever it is, right, what have you. There's just so much willingness to pump Kansas City up, and I think we're going to get away from a lot of those negative things here over the next couple of years. I've been guilty of it myself. I'm born and raised here, right? So I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and the in between. We were just on a trip with my wife last week, and she's obviously pumping up Kansas City. That's part of what she does. And she's really great at it. And I'm over here like, yeah, but it's cold. And yeah, but right. So even with us locals, us natives, right, we got to kind of get out of that a little bit ourselves, right, and realize, hey, it goes on everywhere, right?
That's
but
right.
What are the good things that we're doing here, to really make ourselves stand out? And I think we are doing a great job of that as a community, as a city as well. So I appreciate that you said that, sir. Now, going on to our next question, I'm going to ask you about your social media journey. So all of us, when we start social media, we start at 0, right? Red Tail, when they started as an organization, right. 0 likes, 0 follows, right? We've built it up now to quite a bit. So tell us a little bit about what that journey is like for you, you and your team, and getting that content out so people know what you guys are doing.
Well, one of the things I will first admit, I'm not the best at social media. So I'm glad that I'm surrounded by people that are much better than I am. But it's one of the things that in order to reach the goals that we're looking for, we have a social media platform. Of course, you go to Red Tail Academy on our Facebook page. It is growing. We need to get more followers because we are doing some really good things. And the only thing I don't like about media is that the good things you have to really push. If it's something bad, you don't even have to mention it and everybody knows about it. And so we have our social media with the Facebook. We have an Instagram page. And then we're also keep doing revisions on our website. And the website is one of the cool things where you can kind of see what's going on. We're launching new programs this year. And the new programs is more of a way. We're doing a thing called, we really haven't named it yet because it's so new, but we're calling them modules, to where, let's say, for instance, a person wanted to just find out a little bit about maybe becoming a pilot. Not becoming a pilot, just some information. So we have created these modules, which are 8-week courses that you can take to see if being a pilot is right for you. And there's quizzes and things in there to make sure to give you enough interest and give you enough information. But one of the great things we have on the pilot track, you mentioned military with your family. One of my board members is a former B-2 pilot who now flies for Delta. And then we have another board member, the founding board member is a captain with Delta. So we have the best of the military training and the best of the commercial training that our kids have been able to get on the pilot track. My background, I was at an aviation maintenance school here in town for 12 years. Started a program that's the first of its kind in the country where high school students are getting dual credit while still in high school toward aviation maintenance. Wow. And so we have that track where we have that as one of the modules where you can do that for 8 weeks to see, do I want to be a maintenance technician? We're talking about air traffic controllers. And again, you know, the information is just not readily out there, but we have a course designed for 8 weeks. You can see what it's like to become an air traffic controller, what's the benefits. And then we have a few more that we do, but those are the top 3 because of the big demand. And so our media helps us do that. But with the programs in the media, we have in the process creating those modules where they can be done remotely. So we could send those out to outlying schools and outlying areas. And of course, the social media is how we keep the content together, because you can get together and create groups like study groups and things of that nature. And it just makes it where we can reach a lot more people than just me talking off at the mouth all the time, trying to get people interested. Because if I get in your social media network and give you a program that you can send to other people, imagine the expansion of the reach of what we're able to do just by a simple idea. I can't take credit for the ideal. I'm just the person that puts it all together, but they give me the ideas and I put them together. So yeah, the social media platforms are really good, really strong, especially when we're doing our community outreach. I mean, a lot of our community outreach things, if you want to come to one of our events, we had a barbecue back in August where the Kansas City police helicopter landed in the middle of our barbecue. The city got a chance to get up close to that, talk to the pilot, you know, and learn about that, and then watch it take off in the midst of a barbecue that we hosted. And we, of course, we had bands, we had a flyover, we had so much stuff going on. We had an estimated over 3,000 people showed up for this barbecue.
Wow.
Well, I can't call 3,000 people up and say, hey, I'm throwing a party. But if you follow the social media, you'll see those type of things. And we're going to be doing the barbecue again. There's a couple of events that my team is putting together that's going to happen. And the way we get the word out is that if you follow us on social media, you would know what Red Tail is doing. And this barbecue, it was free. We had a petting zoo. I mean, we had so much going on. We fed 1,500 people.
Wow.
And, you know, we're a small organization, but we fed it. And all you had to do is just come and have a good time. That's awesome. We talked a little bit about aviation because that's what we do. But, you know, we threw the event because we want more people just to even just, again, when I talk about Kansas City working together, it's great to see all the organizations that came out for that. And we worked together to put on something. And it wasn't about the money. And that's when I tell people all the time, it's not about the money. Yes, we need money. I'm not going to lie. But we do things to show that it's not just about the money. We're going to show you that we are an intricate part of what's happening here in Kansas City. Absolutely.
No, that's absolutely amazing. I love that you guys had the helicopter come in. I remember watching my older brother play football over at East, and the helicopters would come in and land, right? It would be Metro Sports or the news or whoever it was, right? I remember just looking up, the game was over in my mind until that helicopter had landed, right? It was just something so amazing. And I think, you know, that's such an amazing way to captivate attention and imagination, right? Because then they can see the pilot get out, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like the commercial airline where maybe you see him, maybe you don't, probably not, right? But they can see him get out, right? They can interact, they can talk with them. So that's really cool. And that's a great way to use social media to get that word out there as well. So beautiful. I love what you said too. You know, I think social media in Kansas City are kind of related, and what you said there as far as the negative stuff that's out there, right? I mean, you're going to get what you're looking for, right? Especially with social media as well as here in the city. But there are so many positive things that are out there, like Red Tail Academy, like a lot of the nonprofits around the city. And
Mhm.
if you're getting out there and you're looking for that stuff, your feed is going to reflect what you're looking for when you get on social media. It kind of
That is so
has
true.
a way of knowing you a little bit better than maybe you even know yourself in that regard of what am I looking to consume, right? So keep that in mind when you're getting on social media. Obviously, we all have a responsibility to make sure that there's good content that's being put out there, but make sure you're looking for what you actually want to be seeing on there as
Yep.
well. Patrick, every superhero has a defining moment. What do you think yours is when it comes to not only your life but your career as well?
You know, as a kid, I was one of those selfish kids where everything was all about me, 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 me. But then I woke up one morning and I started thinking about other people and how I could make an impact on other people. So when you look at that, I mean, life is that it goes back to what I said previously of creating a legacy. And when I realized that I wanted to make a difference in my city or in my life or in my family, just in me in general, I started looking for ways to get involved with things happening in the community. I am an inner city kid with a little bit of education. And when you think about the fact that you're talking to me right now, that I was not killed in my 20s or 30s because of the lifestyle that I ran, that is a milestone. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you this, I've been shot at twice and they missed both times. And so the thing is that the first time they missed, I thought I was invincible. I thought I was Superman because, hey, you can't kill me.
Yeah.
But then the second time they missed, I was fortunate because my life flashed before my eyes. I heard the bullet shoot past my ear. And so that tells you how close it was. And I got to thinking, if I were to leave this earth, how do I want to leave it? Do I want to leave it because of being stupid? Or I want to leave it because I've done some good things and then life just caught up to me? So I decided to get involved with, like I said, education, which I never thought I would ever be involved in education because I was a student that when I graduated, I left town. I went to college, but I left college. I mean, I left everything because education, I'm smart enough. I don't need education. And when the opportunity hit me in the face and I went to work for my first school, I'm like, this is not going to last long because I'm only doing this because I need to be someplace else. But then I saw that I was making a difference in the school I was working at, and it became my career. So that pivotal point of not looking for a career, but the career chose me is where my life is being defined because I had no idea. If you would have asked me 30 years ago, where will you be 30 years later? I would have told you not what I'm doing right now, not even close. But being involved in giving people an opportunity to be educated, whether it be structured education or just life education, is really a key thing because I am one of the fortunate people that from the hood made it into an executive position. In fact, multiple executive positions. And when you look at the statistics, I shouldn't be here. But the fact that I am, I know that I am meant for something. And I'm still trying to find out exactly what that is, but I'm going to keep doing things to show that I'm doing good stuff. And then somebody say, well, that's what you're meant for. I don't know what I'm meant for yet, but I don't continue to help people, educate people, connect people, do what I can, take myself out of the equation to give other people the opportunity. Let them learn from my mistakes. But my contacts, I tell my students all the time, my contacts are your contacts. And it's really great when a student would come up to me or a prior student and said, man, I'm looking for a job, man. Who do you know? And I smile and say, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Because what you want to do really determines on who I'm going to tell you, who do I know? Because I can make a phone call in some cases, at least get you in front of them. I never guarantee you're going to get the job, but if I can get you to the person that does the hiring, I'm doing what I need to do. It's up for you to sell yourself and what your ability is able to do. So hopefully that answers your question that you asked me about defining my moment.
Absolutely. No, and I think it goes back to that realization, right? Of what am I doing, right? Well, what do I want to be doing, really, right? So,
Right.
no, that's huge, right? And I think a lot of times it is a choice. I'm from the inner city as well, right? So
Yeah,
it's all about choices, right? You can be a
right.
victim or you can set that aside. You can get out and make it happen, right? Against
Yeah.
whatever the odds are, right? So I love that. I love that. that kind of leads into our next question, right? Which we're going to talk about the attributes that define a hero. So obviously, heroes have attributes, as do villains, right? What do you
Mhm.
feel are the attributes that really define that hero side?
Well, that willing to do good by everybody. I mean, that's one of the
Yeah,
things is that, try to right some wrongs and being there, knowing that you can be accountable. And even if you do it behind the scenes, because sometimes behind the scenes accountability is much more important than in front of the camera accountability.
absolutely.
And so defining those moments is that I can be a hero, but you see somebody else in the limelight, and the reason that person is there because they had just a little bit of nudge from me to get them there. Watching the results of the people that I interact with, that is amazing. I mean, I have stories that even when I think about them, I still tear up because I had just a smidget to do with that person's success. I can never take credit for anybody's success. And it's always wonderful when people come back and say, "Hey, I'm where I am because of you." I'm thinking, well, you're where you are because of yourself. But if you want to give me credit, I'll take a little bit, but I didn't do anything. Only thing I did was open the door or point it to the door. You walked through it. And you did all the work. And I just was just there. And so when I hear that, I'm very humbled because I know that I didn't really do anything, but the impact of what that person says is that you did a great thing for me. And I have people like that in my life to where, getting into management, the first person that got me there, his name was Marlon Brown. And we argued all the time. But then he said, you know what? The way you argue, you would be a good manager. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be in charge of anybody. But because of that, and he stayed on me and I was able to get into my management roles and I never looked back. And so being in inspiration to others, and I like to say being example to others also helps that they can, being like you and I are both inner city kids and we're doing okay. I mean, I'm not at the top of anybody's game, but I'm not at the bottom either.
Right.
And so with that, it just makes it really, really nice to define a hero when you want to be able to influence others in a positive way, be there to help them out, and then give them pathways to guide as well.
Yeah, that selflessness, having the honor to do the right thing when nobody's looking, right? And obviously,
Right.
you're opening doors, right? I mean, it sounds to me like you've kind of got that flashlight for people that are a little bit lost, right? Of where do I need to go?
Mm-hmm.
Here's your next step, right? Which is a lot of times that could be life changing, right? I mean, that
Oh yeah.
is a lot of people can turn around there and be lost forever, right? Or
Right.
they've got somebody that reaches out, grabs their hand, and kind of shows them the way, right? So maybe take a little bit more credit for yourself for getting people out of those woods. Okay. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. They still have to do it, right? I mean,
That's right.
you can show them the door all day long, but it is still on them, right? I mean, you can show
Oh yeah.
people the truth, the light, anything, but whether they take it or don't, ultimately is always going to fall back on that person, right? So take
That's right.
responsibility for yourself for sure. Patrick, I'm going to ask you the hard one. Out of all the superheroes that are out there, which one do you think relates best to Patrick Nelson? And tell us a couple reasons why.
Well, Spider-Man is really the one that comes to mind because of, in my perspective, he's kind of sneaky. He slivers around. A lot of times you don't see him, but then when you see him, is it just at the right time? So he only appears just at the right time. So all the other things that he's doing is for scheming and figuring out where to get to and just creeping around. That's kind of me. But when you really need me, I try to be there. And the thing is that if I'm always involved, I can always react to being what's going on. But if I'm not involved, how can I respond to something? I don't want to get there the day late. I want to get there on time. And so Spider-Man, I love his slickness. And the fact that he's not very boastful like some of the other superheroes, like he doesn't put his hands on his chest, he don't pump his chest, say, I'm Spider-Man. It's like, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Cool. And so I like his character, and that's who I would associate myself with.
I love that. I love that. In the shadows until you need me.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. How can people get in touch with Red Tail Academy? How can they follow you? How can they get involved? What's all the platforms that you guys have?
The biggest thing, of course, is redtailacademy.org. Go to our website. If you're interested about our programs, you want to go there. We're constantly updating the website. And also, if you really want to get behind Red Tail, we need donors. We have a lot of different campaigns going on. And even as an individual donor, you may not have a lot of money, but if you can commit to $10 a month to Red Tail Academy, that helps fuel and make the impossible possible for the underserved youth of our city. Of course, our social media with our Facebook page, our Instagram page. If you Google Red Tail, there's a redtailfacebook.com, Red Tail Academy KC. And make sure it's KC because there's other Red Tail Academies out there, but KC is the one that we are right here. At Instagram as well. It's on the screen. Just get behind us, share it with your friends. If you have questions about aviation or just education, reach out to us. We are connected with a lot of different organizations. So yes, we are focused on aviation. However, we're focused on development of youth altogether because not everybody's going to become an aviator, but we also have other companies as well. And if you really think about it, there are 101 aviation related careers and they all need people. And we just want to connect people to careers and change the educational mantra that we have more people graduating in Kansas City going into jobs. It's not always college. It's not always the military. Sometimes we can get you right into work. So just reach out to us. We do our best to get you connected with the right people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you think about it, right, and if you're not willing to give just out of the kindness of your heart to help some underprivileged youth learn how to fly and learn about different fields within aviation, think of it as an investment, right? Because if we don't get pilots in the sky, guess what? That $400 round trip ticket turns into an $800 round trip ticket pretty quick if we don't have pilots that are able and willing to get up there and take us where we need to go, right? So $120 a year to save that $400 every single time later is definitely going to be worth it. Patrick, man, thank you again for coming on the show. Everybody out there watching, get to redtailacademy.com. You know, even if you're not willing to give your money, get out there, volunteer, help these guys out any way you can. Patrick, thanks again, man. Everybody out there, have a great day.
Appreciate the opportunity. Be safe, everybody.
Hey, are we still live? Hey, guys, we're still live. Hey, guys, this is Kevin Kwok, founder of J29 Creative Group. So who are we? We're a marketing agency here in Kansas City. We're all about a holistic approach to marketing that builds your brand and nurtures online community. But to be honest with you, you guys don't care.